Hey everyone, Richard here. So it's time to do one of my favorite types of videos. I was tagged to show my top 10 modern graded books in my collection. There's mostly CGC, but there's a couple CBCS in here also. Unfortunately, I actually sent out about 2 or 3 books that would definitely make this list to get signed recently. So unfortunately, I had to make a little substitutes, but even with those substitutes, this is still a solid list and worthy of a top 10. So I'm just happy to get into it. So let's do it. All right, first book. This book you don't see many people show. It's kind of hard to get your hands on, and I think it's because the fans of this particular artist and this particular character generally keep this book when they get it. Zombie Tramp #1. This reprints her first appearance, which is a Super Ghost, signed by Dan Mendoza. And part of the reason this makes my top 10 is because Dan Mendoza is just a great creator to meet. Um, so yeah, that factored into this one. All right, next book. This book definitely makes my list because I'm a mega fan of the franchise, more so than the value of the book. But it's probably my favorite horror sci-fi and possibly my favorite action sci-fi series of all time. Aliens #1, first appearance of Aliens in comics, and it is signed by the artist Mark Nelson right here. This one also makes my list because meeting Mark Nelson was really nice. Super cool guy, super friendly, likes to talk, and he did a few remarks for me on some other books for free. So, yeah, very happy about this one, and a solid pick for my top 10. Next up is actually a pretty recent pickup for me. It's a variant, Harley Quinn #3, the steampunk variant. This book is double signed. Amanda Connor right here in pink and Jimmy Palmiotti right here. And I got this for a really good deal, and that's kind of factoring into why I decided to put it on this list, and also because I'm looking more and more at these steampunk variants, and there's quite a few of them, and most of them are seriously underappreciated, so might be some future hunts for me. Next book is pretty much a staple first appearance of the modern age. I think just about everyone hunts for this book at some point in time. Batman Adventures #12, 9.2. Another book that I got for relatively cheap because the estimated grade on it was much lower, but after a press it came out really nice. So yeah, just solid book. Has to go on a top 10 list. All right, so this next book probably makes every top 10 list I ever do, or every top list of anything I ever do, because it's just in terms of artworks, probably my favorite variant of all time. When I picked this up, it wasn't worth much of anything, but it took me a couple years to find it. Since then, it's exploded. Multiple bigger channels than me have shown it. But still, it's a staple book in my collection. Black Widow #2, the Stephanie Hans smoking gun variant. Like I said, a book that I've shown off basically as long as I've had my channel, so 4 or 5 years now. And it's always on my top list. Yeah. Next book. This book is probably my favorite stealth buy of all time. It's not my most valuable stealth buy of all time, but one that I'm, I guess, very proud of. I found this at an antique mall for $1. I got it pressed and off the grading, came back at 9.6. X-23 #1, the Gabrielle Delato cover. Quite possibly the best X-23 cover there is as well. So, yeah, had to make this one on the list. Next book. This one makes the list for a couple reasons. One, the character is super important to me as a modern comic collector. And #2, I got it for a really good price, which is kind of a theme for this list. I pre-ordered this before the artwork was shown for it, so I got it for actually really, really cheap. And when I sent it off to get it graded, it came back at 9.8. Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider #1, the 1 in 100 variant. I feel like this particular artist has tried to recapture this magic in quite a few covers since this one came out, but none of them really meet this particular book. Next book is a very recent pickup, and a recently graded too. I picked this up for $4 at an antique mall. And it's this high on the list mainly because of what it is in terms of character, but even in terms of value, this is very high up on the list. Star Wars Clone Wars #1, standard cover, 9.2. First appearance of Ahsoka Tano in comic books, and yeah, just a great stealth buy, and an important book to me on a whole slew of levels. I can't tell you how many copies of this book I turned down years ago because I wanted the variant and I didn't want the normal cover. But now, yeah. Next book is sort of the partner to the book I just showed. I got this one for $9 at the same time, same antique mall. Came back to an 8.5, which I don't necessarily agree with that grade, but it's not worth it to me to crack and redo. But does not detract from this book at all in my top 10 list. Even value-wise, this is probably where it would fall, somewhere in this area. So, yeah, the Dark Horse 100, 1 in 1000 variant. And the last book. This is a book that I followed for a very, very long time. 1 or 2 years just watching what it was doing price range. It became kind of stagnant for a while, and seeing what other books were doing, I decided to buy it. And I'm glad I bought it when I did, because it's over doubled in value since then. Edge of Spider-Verse #2, the 1 in 25 Greg Land variant. Possibly my favorite book in my collection. It's either top 1 or 2 in my entire collection, regardless of age. Definitely top 1 of my moderns. And yeah, just very important book to me. Spider-Gwen is the reason I got back into collecting when she came out, so had to include this one in #1. So yeah, that's my top 10. Definitely leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Top 10s are my favorite content on YouTube, even more than comic hauls sometimes. Just because you learn so much about the person you're watching when they show what their favorite books are. So yeah, I'm actually going to tag a few people. Kingdom Comics, Beauty Comics, Walking Jedi, Comic Book Aesthete, and anyone else who happens to watch this and has a top 10 modern graded comics they want to show. Because, like I said, I like content, the more the better. And, yeah, that's really all there is to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this top 10. I'm sure there'll be more of these here in the future for different ages. So yeah, that's everything. I hope you're all well, and take care.